So I've been gone a couple weeks, and during that time, a couple things have happened. News has broke. We're going to DCU. The Arrowverse had an 11-year anniversary that I want to talk about. We're going to be talking about all that in this video, but I do quickly want to address why I was gone. I was sick for a week, and then the last week and a half or so, I haven't really felt like recording. I didn't have the motivation for it. Trying to come up with videos to do, and when the Arrowverse 11-year anniversary happened, I was going to do a video. I didn't really feel like it. And then DCU news broke, and I was going to do a video. I didn't really feel like it, so I did a short instead. But I decided, you know what, I kind of feel like it today, so we'll see what I'm doing. So this is what I'm doing. I'm hoping a video tomorrow to go out as well. And hopefully I'll get that motivation back that I had before I was gone. I do quickly want to thank you all for sticking around. I know it's been a couple weeks and no content. I very could have easily lost a lot of you through subscribers and notifications and all that, but you guys have stuck around. I can't thank you all enough for that. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. So over the weekend, we learned that the entire cast of the DCU Justice League has been fired, meaning Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, Ray Fisher, who played Cyborg, Ezra Miller, and Jason Momoa have all been let go of their DCEU roles. Now, Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, we already knew about that they weren't returning. Obviously, because Ben was being recast right now. Superman also has been recast, but they let Henry Cavill go before then. Jason Momoa, for the record, is also in talks to possibly play Lobo at one point, which is very, very interesting. I think he's going to play that character very well if he does go down that route. Hell of a lot better than he did play Aquaman, in my opinion. But the thing that caught me off guard was Ezra Miller, because we were told there's a Flash sequel being made for the movie right now, and the fact that they fired Ezra while it's being said that that movie's being written kind of just threw me off. Now, granted, an actor can easily replace Ezra and the script would still work, but I was deeply surprised when I read that the entire DCU cast was fired, which includes Ezra. Now, we can go into recasting. I've already done that before. I won't do it again here. But again, it is very important to note out that Ezra Miller has been fired and he is no longer the DCU Flash. We will get someone else, whether that's Grant, Lucas Till, whoever the hell you want cast as the Flash. That would be who's the Flash in DCU, which is very, very good. And I say that because I think James Gunn finally looked at what people have been saying about the movie, the Flash movie, and realizing that Michael Keaton, the movie didn't flop because of Michael Keaton or Sasha Calle, or the writing, even though the writing wasn't that great. It flopped because of Ezra Miller, because nobody wants to support Ezra. They didn't want to support him, or them, sorry, and they didn't really want to support a movie that Ezra was in. So that's where all that came from. And I think James Gunn finally caught on to that and said, hey, maybe we should fire Ezra before we go into the DCU. Now, again, we do have a new Superman who's already been recast. I don't remember the actor's name. I'm sure people can correct me in the comments, or let me know in the comments because I don't remember. It was a long time ago, so I don't remember. But as for Cyborg and, Martian Manhunter and Aquaman, Wonder Woman, we have no idea what's going on there with the casting. All we know is that it's not Gal Gadot, Ray Fisher, or Jason Momoa. Now, the Jason Momoa, like I said, he's been in talks to play Lobo for the next Superman movie, Superman Legacy, or a solo film about Lobo. Now, the reason this is important is because the post-credit scene in the Flash movie had Jason Momoa, I guess, not remembering he was Aquaman. So are we saying that's Lobo then? Also, not to mention that Ezra was in that post-credit. So, are we just going to imagine that post-credit never even happened? It's supposed to be in the new universe. It's just it's a mess. The Flash movie created a mess. And James Gunn didn't know how to fix it, so he just let it all play out. That's not what you had to do. You had to come up with a new story and let it play into your world that you're creating. He couldn't do that. So what we're going to be getting to DCU now is so many unanswered questions regarding Blue Beetle and Aquaman movie that's coming out, with Jason Momoa starring as Aquaman when he's just been fired as Aquaman. So that movie that's based in this new universe, or should be, is nowhere near at all what's going to be in the movie in the DCU coming forward. Now you can say, well, Aquaman 2 is before the Flash movie. Okay, but why would they release it after the Flash movie? Even if it is before, why release it after? That is such a stupid decision to make. At least a marketing standpoint, it's a stupid decision to make when you know not everyone follows you on social media, and even if it has been confirmed that outcome is before the Flash, takes place before the Flash, and it's not in the new timeline, again, why have that post-credit? Why sub this new timeline through the Flash when you're not going to follow it? It makes no sense. So the DCU is not starting off great. It's all over the place. And it's not because they fired everybody. I think it's great that they fired everyone. Start new, start fresh. But do it correctly. Not whatever the hell is going to be happening over the next several years. That's not the answer. And I would personally like to think that James Gunn knows better, but at the same time, I mean, he probably doesn't. But it would really be nice to know if, what his plans fully are. Granted, I haven't really been following the DCU plans that much, besides, the Flash movie being the entry point to that. But again, it's the entry point, and you fire Jason Momoa to then cast Miss Lobo, most likely. We're not there yet, but it seems like that would become the case. It makes no sense. You need to act accordingly. When you have George Clooney show up saying he's Bruce Wayne, and you're going to cast a younger person for the DCU, that's not how it works. Now, it's some other news that happened while I was away. Last Tuesday, October 10th, 11 years ago, the Arrow pilot aired and started the entire Arrowverse, meaning the Arrowverse has been around for 11 whole years, which is insane. Also, not to mention the Flash pilot premiered 9 years ago, I think the Saturday before the 11-year anniversary of Arrow pilots airing. So again, all these shows kind of fall into place. I think Batwoman was 2 days later. Supergirl, I think it's a couple months from now. I could be wrong on that. But, this is... Again, the Arrowverse as a whole started 11 years ago. And it's insane to look at where we're at right now with 0 Arrowverse shows on. And during the 10-year Arrowversary, we had 1 show, which is The Flash, because the rest got either canceled or were ending or disconnected from the Arrowverse. And yes, I'm talking about Superman and Lois. Stargirl got canceled. Supergirl ended in 6. Legends got canceled. Batwoman got canceled before the 10-year Arrowversary. And it's Superman and Lois, people still say it's part of the Arrowverse, but it's not. It's been confirmed that it's not. This is 1 at least. And so, literally, no Arrowverse show is on right now. And probably never will be. But I do think it's important to just I've already talked about the Arrowverse as a whole, and I mean, my last video before this one was literally praising the Arrowverse, how it saved DC, which I didn't really expect to take a 3-week break. So I guess it kind of worked out in my retrospect, but, it still does matter to bring up the fact that the Arrowverse did fundamentally change superheroes as a whole, the genre as a whole. And, I'm not going to go into full detail because, again, I did a full video praising the Arrowverse just before this one. So you want to see me praise the Arrowverse for like 10, 15 whole minutes, go watch that video. But it is kind of depressing to think that we have no shows on right now for the Arrowverse, and we may never have them again. Now, that being said, I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if, give or take a few years from now, there's a season 10 Flash comic or a season 9 Arrow comic, which I'm kind of surprised they didn't do one yet. Or, an Arrow spin-off show. Something. I wouldn't be surprised if nothing. I wouldn't be surprised at all if something happens with the Arrowverse, whether that's a comic, animated show, an animated movie, or a movie in general, or a new show that's spinning off of Arrow related to Diggle becoming Green Lantern. Something like that. Because Steven and David Ramsey both said they're open to doing a spin-off show where he's Green Arrow and where Steven's Green Arrow and David is Green Lantern, or Steven's the Spectre, 1 to 2. That would be really, really cool. I would watch that in a heartbeat. Even if it's Dig as Spartan, I wouldn't really care. Just something. Obviously, Justice is going to be that, but they didn't pick it up because it didn't really work. Which, I mean, the idea of the story was Metahumans and Dig's working with them. Like, we see that on a basis anyways with Dig, so it didn't really just ring any bells when it comes to, we're gonna do this show. Like, no. It wouldn't have worked anyways, but at least from what was heard and said about the show. But it is important to mention that the Arrowverse isn't dead. It's just nothing is happening right now for us to say, oh, it's breathing, it's active. We can still say it's still here, it's still active, just can't really say that nothing's on. And, that's just right now. That could change a year from now. Hell, it could change a couple months from now for all we know. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes. That being said, I highly doubt there's a show being developed right now. I highly doubt there's any form of animation or comic being made right now, purely because of the strikes, the writer's strike, the actor's strike. Maybe once those are done, give it like a year, maybe we'll see something in that aspect. But I genuinely cannot believe if someone comes up to me and tells me the Arrowverse is done, quit talking about it, because there's so many stories left to tell. They left the door open for Mia Queen, Oliver's daughter, obviously, who's still looking for William. They never closed that story. They left the door for Despero, the alien invasion, for Justice League stories to play out, the Blackest Night storyline to play out. They left stories with Supergirl and Legends and Batwoman. Obviously, those two shows never got picked up, and because they got canceled. And Batwoman, while it did kind of get wrapped up, there's still some stories that we can develop with her in the comics or animation. And the thing with animation and comics is we don't need to worry about the actors showing up or not. Just do it. And again, I've done a full video talking about my opinions on all that, and I'm not going to go into it here again. But the simple mind of the fact is, the Arrowverse, whether people like to admit it or not, is not done. There are still stories to be told, and they can still tell them in a way that can touch people in different ways than live action ever could. Animation will just become so much more popular. The comics, all of it. They can still do that. They set that up several times in the last 11 years. The Earth Prime comics, the built-in season 0 comics for the Flash. Well, I don't think those comics were built in, but you know what I mean. The Earth Prime comics were canon, but I don't know about the season 0 Flash comic, but whatever. And the Animation Vixen show, which, I mean, they only did animation one time, but still, you get the actors to come back. They don't have to leave their homes. They can do it at home with this technology we have these days, through COVID, the Zoom, and all that. You can literally do it from your basement, and you'll be fine. Like, it's not that difficult. You can easily do a season 10 of Flash, season 9 of Arrow, or a Green Lantern show from the Arrowverse. You can do all these things with animation and still keeping the vibe of the shows that we had when they were on. Even for the Flash and OG days would be something else to look at. Or just a Justice League Arrowverse show that's still similar to Justice League Unlimited. It could truly, really work if they do it the right way. So looking back in the last 11 years, we've seen how the Arrowverse can keep going, how it can keep growing if they do it right. Now again, nothing is being said about this. I'm just saying what I would like to see over the next couple of years, and not just let the Arrowverse die with the Flash series finale. Not because it was good or bad, but because I don't believe that that's just it. There's still more stories to tell. They left that door open on several levels for the Flash, for Arrow, for Dig, for Legends, for Batwoman, for Supergirl, for Stargirl. There are so many doors in the Arrowverse left open. So many questions unanswered. And the Flash's final season never, ever, ever would have been able to close all those doors, even if they had Legends show up, even if they had Stargirl show up, even if they had Dig become Green Lantern. There still would have been doors left open and questions unanswered. You cannot blame Eric Wallace and the writers for us having all these doors left unopened. It's not really anybody's fault. It's the way that we closed the universe in live action. We still have animation and comics, and it could really, truly work if they do it the right way. I know I kind of went on a whole explanation there, but it is important to discuss that we do have options. The universe is not dead. It can still be alive if we bring it back through a legitimate way that can legitimately draw more people in than it could before. And I know I've talked about that before, but still, it's important because nobody talks about it. And generally, the most important things people don't talk about. So, yeah. If you guys watched the video, have a good day, have a good night, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.